All right, you guys. So it seems like we are now privy to the project that Meghan is going to be having her acting debut, not debut, but re-debut. And she is going to be on The Gentleman. Now, I've never heard of this series, but apparently it is on Netflix and it's one of the UK's top series. So that makes sense because, as we know, Meghan has her series on Netflix and I believe still has a production deal with them. So that would be an easy crossover. Also, that's Theo James I see. I love me some Theo James, so I will be tuned in. I guess I need to catch up as this is going to be season 3. I've got 2 seasons I need to binge. Fine by me, because yes, I first heard of Theo James, first saw Theo James on White Lotus. If you did not see that season, I recommend it. So, I'm intrigued to know if Meghan's going to be a series regular. Is it like a cameo where she's playing herself? Is she going to get to play an actual character? That would be really cool. I'm so excited for her. See, this is a woman who has passion projects. She has her patronages or charities, as we call them here in the US. She wants to do the work, okay? This woman has been so qualified for the position that she's in. She's overly qualified. Sorry, I just got a call. But yeah, she's overqualified for this position, especially if, the next Queen of England is going to be Kate Middleton. There's no comparison. So if Kate can be Queen, Meghan can definitely be Duchess. And it's just very apparent why people have had major issues with Meghan throughout the years. The girl's just got it. She's got it. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I now see that people put out an article that this is one of the major reasons they're coming back to the UK. If they're going to be there for an extended period of time, to me, that means you're filming. That means you're going to be a series regular. That means you need to be there on site, on set frequently. Otherwise, why not just fly over when you have a scene to do or whatever? So she has to be a series regular, which is super exciting for her, I'm sure. She was on Suits for 7+ seasons, something like that. Don't get me to lying. But it's a passion of hers. It's what she's done. It's how she made a name for herself. So going back to the UK and doing your acting after you just made $100+ million in the US, did a podcast, did a show, had multiple documentaries, she has a thriving company with As Ever where she's selling jams and wine and she's doing the damn thing. If I were Kate Middleton, please lace up your effing boots and hit the ground running. You've got to do the work. Otherwise, Meghan's going to run your ass over and you can't be mad at anybody but yourself because you have all of the resources behind you. All you have to say is a fucking word and these people will make it happen for you. You've got to want it for yourself. And instead of watching what other people are doing, watching what Meghan's doing and this and another, focus on what you want to do and what your passions are and what it is that you could thrive in. We know public speaking is not something that Kate thrives on. She mumbles through it. Meghan's got that in the bag. We've seen it. But there are other things that I'm sure Kate does well. So lean into that. I just feel like at this point, it's just been so lackluster. It's been so lackluster when it comes to both William and Kate, who are going to be the next king and queen.
Wait guys, if this is true, this may be one of the major reasons why they've moved back to the UK for now. So all of the speculations, Harry made Meghan come to the UK, Harry doesn't know what he's doing. I saw posts Harry's got blood on his hands from a squaddy, by the way, on Twitter. All the speculations, this may be one of the major reasons why they're moving back temporarily. It makes sense that if Meghan's filming for an extended period of time and she doesn't want to be away from her kids, that they'd move here if they're filming here in the UK. It just makes perfect sense. She's got really young kids. She wants to be around them all the time and she doesn't want to miss out on their education. They're growing up and so she moves here. Sometimes shooting a movie takes months, even years to film. Would she be away from her kids for that long? So it may not even be about Charles exiting soon like people thought. It may not be about British education, trying to get their kids into British schools. It may not be any of that. And that's why it's not going to make assumptions. Honestly, I've learned, and sometimes I also have to remember that Meghan and Harry know what's best for Meghan and Harry and their family. We don't know. Like I said, we don't know even 5% of it. It starts to unravel with time. So if this is true, I'm super excited for Meghan. I mean, it's Ritchie. That's a big show. She'll make a great addition to it. And getting the chance to go back into acting. If you're an actor, you know, that's something that you actually really enjoy. You never actually leave. It's always in you. I know this firsthand. Trust me, it's always in you. You just enjoy it. And the joy that comes from being an actor is just something else. So yeah, I'm quite excited for her. And if this is one of the major reasons why they come back to UK, it makes perfect sense. I've been seeing the news that she was casted in a film, and that's why she came here. But I didn't want to talk about it because I'd not seen anything concrete. But this, I like it. I like it a lot.
When I tell you, I literally have no idea what the F is going on in the Harry royal world. I literally have no freaking idea anymore. Because apparently Meghan is in some sort of discussion to have some sort of role in Guy Ritchie's Netflix show called The Gentleman. Now, mind you, Meghan has said herself that she's not interested in acting, but she also has mentioned a few times that she does miss it. Now, this is all coming off the big announcement this week that Harry and Meghan, with their children, will be moving back to the UK part-time, temporarily. And that within itself was like a big curveball because I guess if you really look at the signs from the past few months, it was there, but no one saw that coming. I feel like in the coming weeks or even days, we will get some answers from them because there have been a lot of things that's been like, oh, wait, they're doing this? And I don't know if that's going to look like an interview, what it's going to look like. I just feel like in the coming days or weeks, we will see some sort of like response from them, like with clear answers. But in the meantime, I'll just say this. People change all the time. And one thing that has stayed consistent with them is that they never wanted to leave the UK. That is always a security issue. And clearly, the security is not an issue anymore. So we will see.
People magazine is now reporting that part of the reason Meghan and Harry are moving back to the UK is because Meghan has taken on an acting job that presumably is in the UK. The Sussex team did not confirm it, but they also did not deny it, according to this People article. I have to say that this does make more sense now that we know this, that it wasn't all Harry wanting to move back. It also is Meghan returning to acting, and it's a job. And this is what other actors do. They do move to location and they do bring their family with them if this is the setup that they have. Which means that it wasn't Harry just unilaterally being like, we're moving back because I want to move back. This is a family decision, obviously, that was made for both of their interests. And it just so happened to line up with the Invictus Games this year as well. And this article does confirm that they are not selling any of their properties, that this is a temporary move. So if they are just on location for a little bit of time, that would make sense too. Cue the comments and stories about how returning to acting is lowbrow of her, even though they need money. Obviously, that's what everybody's all worried about, is if they're broke or not. This is a job. Good for her.
Squatties, let's be serious for a minute. Some of these people are talking about Meghan returning to acting like she has just discovered what a camera is. What are we doing here? This is Meghan Sussex we are talking about. Acting isn't some random hobby she picked up last Tuesday. Before the royal titles, before the palace drama, before all the headlines, Meghan was already out there working. She was auditioning, she was taking roles, she was learning the business. And yes, she became widely known for playing Rachel Zane on Suits. So when you hear that Meghan could be stepping back into acting, the reaction shouldn't be, oh my goodness, what is she doing? It should be, oh, she's going back to something she already knows. That's the difference. And I already know what the trolls are going to say. Oh, she's desperate. Oh, she's trying to get famous again. Oh, nobody wants to see her act. Here we go again. But think about regular people for a second. If you spent years working in a profession, stepped away from it because your life changed, and then years later decided, you know what, I actually enjoyed that. I'd like to do it again. Would anybody seriously tell you that you're desperate? Of course not. People leave jobs, people change careers, people take breaks, people come back. That's life. And Meghan has every right to say, you know what, I still love this, let me have another go. That's actually the part I like. She's not asking permission from the internet. She's not sitting around waiting for some royal commentator to give her a thumbs up. She's making choices about her own career. And let's be honest, squaddies, after everything this woman has been through, seeing her potentially return to acting on her own terms is something worth celebrating. Because Meghan was a person before she was a duchess. She had ambitions before she met Harry. She had a career before the palace. And she can absolutely have a career after the palace. That's what seems to drive some people crazy. They want Meghan permanently frozen in the chapter where she married into the royal family. But Meghan keeps moving. New projects, new ideas, new opportunities, and now possibly acting again. Girl, go get your camera. Let the trolls complain. Let them write their angry little comments. Meanwhile, Meghan can get back to work. And that's the funniest part of all. The woman they're constantly telling to disappear somehow keeps finding another door to walk through. That's Meghan, and I love that for her. Squatties, let's clear something up right now because I can already hear the keyboards warming up. Harry and Meghan spending more time in Britain does not mean Meghan is putting her royal hat back on and reporting for duty at Buckingham Palace on Monday morning. Nope, that ship has sailed. If these reports are correct, they're building a private life in Britain, not signing themselves back up for royal duties, and that distinction matters. Because some people hear Meghan is coming back to the UK and immediately start celebrating like they've won the lottery. She's coming back. She's returning to royal life. She's going to need the palace. Whoa, 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 slow down. Meghan can live in Britain without becoming a royal worker again. Think about regular people. If you move back to the town where you grew up, does that mean you're suddenly going back to your old job? Of course not. You can go home without going backwards. And that's exactly how I see this. Meghan can be in Britain and still wake up every morning as Meghan. She can be Harry's wife. She can be Archie and Lilibet's mum. She can run her own projects. She can build her own business. She can take acting opportunities. She can make her own decisions. Nobody gets to press some imaginary royal reset button and say, right, Meghan, here's your schedule. Absolutely not. And here's where the critics really confuse me. Because when Meghan wasn't acting, people had something to say. When she started producing, they had something to say. When she launched lifestyle projects, suddenly everybody became a business expert. Now she's reportedly looking at acting again, and suddenly that's a problem too. At this point, Meghan could open a lemonade stand and somebody would be writing a 3,000-word article about the strategic implications of the lemonade. Come on. Sometimes you just have to let a woman work. That's what regular people understand. You don't have to love Meghan's projects. You don't have to watch every show. You don't even have to care about Hollywood. But why should she be criticized simply because she wants to use her talents again? She's not a newcomer begging Hollywood to give her a chance. She has already done this. She knows the cameras. She knows the auditions. She knows the pressure. She knows the industry. So if Meghan wants to step back in and give acting another shot, let her. And perhaps that's the bigger point. Her life doesn't stop at the palace gates. She doesn't need a royal role to have relevance. She doesn't need permission to have a career. And she certainly doesn't need Britain to decide what she is allowed to become. Meghan can come back to Britain without going back to the old Meghan. And honestly, that's probably what bothers the trolls the most.
Nah, squaddies, this is the part where I have to laugh, because apparently Meghan can't win. When she stepped away from acting, the critics had a field day. Oh, her career's finished. She'll never work again. She made a huge mistake. Okay, fast forward a few years. Meghan starts building businesses. Suddenly, that's a problem too. She gets involved in producing. Problem. She launches lifestyle projects. Problem. She tries something new. Problem. And now we're hearing that she could be returning to acting. Guess what? Problem. At this point, Meghan could sit quietly in her garden, drinking a cup of tea, and somebody would accuse her of having a secret 5-year plan to take over Hollywood. Give the woman a break. Here's what regular people understand. If you have a skill and you enjoy using it, why shouldn't you go back to it? Maybe you worked in an industry for years, then life changed, you took some time away, and one day you thought, you know what, I miss that, so you go back. That's normal. Nobody tells an accountant, a teacher, a chef or a mechanic, sorry, you took a few years off, you can never do that job again. So why does Meghan get treated like she's committing some kind of crime because she might act again? And let's remember something important. She already knows this business. She isn't some random person who walked into Hollywood yesterday saying, hello, I'd like to be an actress. She spent years doing the work. Auditions, long days on set, learning lines, dealing with rejection, showing up. She earned her experience. So if an opportunity comes along and Meghan thinks, yeah, I'd like to do that again, Good for her. Take the opportunity. Try something you enjoy. And if the trolls don't like it, well, they don't have to watch. That's the beauty of television. There's an off button. But I think the real frustration for some critics is much simpler. They wanted Meghan's story to end when she left royal life. They expected her to disappear. Instead, she's still creating, still working, still experimenting, still finding new opportunities, and now she may be stepping back in front of the camera. That is what I call having options, squaddies. Meghan doesn't need everybody to approve. She just needs to decide what makes sense for her. And if acting is something she wants to do again, girl, get that script, get on that set, and let the comment section have a little meltdown while you work. Meghan is showing that her story didn't end when she left the palace. And this, squaddies, is the part I really love, because there are people who still talk about Meghan as if her entire life started the day she married Harry. Seriously. Before the wedding, Meghan already had a career. She had her own goals, she was earning her own money, she had worked for years and built a life for herself. Then she entered the royal family, and suddenly everything about her became about being somebody's wife. And when she left royal life, some critics seemed to think that was it. Finished. Career over. Story over. Lights out. But look at her now. She's still here, still building, still creating, still trying different things. And now she may be stepping back into acting, something she already knows and has experience doing. That's actually pretty inspiring when you think about it, because regular people know what it's like to have your life interrupted. Maybe you leave a job to raise children. Maybe you change direction because your circumstances change. Maybe you move somewhere completely different. Maybe you take a few years away from something you love, and then one day you say, you know what, I'm ready to do this again. There's nothing embarrassing about that. That's life. And I think Meghan returning to acting, if these reports come to fruition, sends a simple message. You can step away from one chapter without throwing away your whole identity. That's powerful. She doesn't have to spend the rest of her life being defined by the palace. She doesn't have to walk into Britain with her head down. She doesn't have to become anybody's background character. She's Meghan. She's Harry's wife. She's Archie and Lilibet's mum. She's a businesswoman. She's a producer. She's an actress. And she's allowed to decide which part of herself she wants to explore next. That's the bit I want people to understand. Going back to Britain doesn't mean going backwards, and returning to acting doesn't mean Meghan has failed at everything else. It means she's got another opportunity, and she's willing to take it. So to everybody already sitting there with their laptop, their tea, and a 47-paragraph rant ready to go, please relax. Meghan may have another job, the horror. Let the woman work. Because while some people are still arguing about who Meghan was 6 years ago, Meghan is busy figuring out what comes next. And honestly, squaddies, I love that for her. Get comfortable, because Meghan's story clearly isn't finished yet. Thanks for watching, squaddies. I am your host, Miles. And Meghan, keep going, girl. We're right behind you, we're cheering you on, and we're not going anywhere. So hit that like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep shining, Meghan. God bless you all, and have a blessed week ahead.